Hello and welcome to my cyberpunk style city in Hytale. Hytale really is incredible for this build style, especially at night. And if you're not convinced, stick around and just wait and see what I build next. I have this space here that I need to fill, so I'm going to experiment with some new build styles that will make this area look really great. I've spent lots of time building in blocky games, but Hytale is still relatively new to me. It's missing some features we're used to in other games, glass blocks come to mind. Yeah, we have some new features that are unique to Hytale that we can exploit to make our builds pop. The area is quite large, so I can't build small, meaning I'll need to use materials I can easily get a lot of. So let's make a start and figure out what we can build right here. Also, let me know what you think of my new cyberpunk variant of my avatar that should match the vibe a little bit better. Let's go. Okay, so first off, let's clear the area so that we have a clean palette. Oh yeah. Now the trees are gone, the sightlines are much better. Now I can start marking out the first building outline with cloth, which is my go-to temporary block of choice. So I've gone pretty large, maybe too large, but it looks about right from up here on the skyscraper I built last time. Now just need to think of a design that'll work at this scale. What I have in mind is a mostly grey build with horizontal bands of windows, which means I can use smooth stone bricks, which are about the easiest material to get hold of, which is great. Let's make a quick mock-up to see if I like the vision. Okay, so here's a few floors in. And I used the shale windows as they're not too bright and match the vibe appropriately. You'll notice I ignored the ground floor, as in my experience that's often the hardest part, so do it last once you already know what you've got for the rest of the build. So I'm happy enough that this should look good, so it's time to build this same pattern the whole way round, and I think maybe one floor higher as well. As the time-lapse plays, I'd just like to thank all of my subscribers for supporting the channel so far. If you enjoyed the video, then please do leave a like and perhaps a comment too to help promote the video to others. And of course, if you aren't already one of my subscribers but would like to see more Hytale content in the future, then please do consider subscribing so you don't miss my future videos. I'll be sure to cover chapter 1 when that comes out. Okay, so the bulk of the building is in now. The whole thing took less than 2 hours, so it's not too bad. The grey of the build definitely gives the grimy dystopian vibes I'm after, but we need some colour and lights for it to really be cyberpunk. So we need to find a light source to go behind these windows, which will also help the build look less see-through. Now, we could use the wind willow fruit for a lovely blue glow like we did for the last build, but I want a warmer colour like yellow or orange. Between videos, I was playing around with the street lights, so if you look behind me now, I have a design with a lovely orange glow. Now, if you'd believe it, this is actually jack-o'-lanterns, so they look a bit silly with the smiley face on the front, but if we face those into each other or away from us, you can't see it. And the green stem is also hard to see, but they do emit a lovely orange glow, which is just perfect. So now we just place the pumpkins behind the windows, and behind some of the windows, some dark block called magma here to make it look like some rooms have the lights on and others have the lights off, which should look really cool. So again, let's just do a section of it to see how it looks. Okay, so that does look incredible. Even cooler than I imagined. Let's do it for the whole build, and see how it looks at night, and I'll be right back. Oh my, these pumpkins are a god block for Cyberpunk Builds in Hytale now. The warm halogen bulb-like glow they emit is just perfect. The inside of the build looks a little bright, but once you put a base in, that won't be a problem as you won't see it from the outside. We have the same problem from above as well, being able to see the pumpkins inside. So let's fix that by adding a roof. I added a layer of stone at one point so we have more of a lip. Always do this as it makes the build look so much more realistic. Oops, how'd I miss the water? So stupid. Anyway, let's go. So using smooth basalt bricks for the roof for a nice darker grey colour. As we get over to the left hand side, you'll see that I've left a gap. And that's because I'll be adding another layer. This structure on top would be where the elevator machinery and other services would be. Adding a structure like this adds realism but also interest to the top of the build rather than just a flat top. So now we have a roof in, let's build some of the usual details. Starting with some aircon units using the calcite bricks and ducting using quartzite pillars. Then some electrical boxes using chalk bricks. Next using some basalt brick stairs which add some interest from a distance. Adding a ladder to get to the upper section and adding similar details there. Finally, adding a mast with some horizontal slabs on the side that are meant to be sort of some aerials, and a red crystal on the top of course. Quickly adding lights too, which mean we can actually see the roof at night. Okay, so the roof is in, which is looking great. We're nearly done with this first building now. But we do need to address the part I have left until last, and that is of course the base. So big tip is to create an overhang between the top section and the base, like I'm doing here, with a too wide layer of dark grey clay. Dark grey clay certainly in my mind is the best colour fit for this, but it's not a cheap block at all. So to make one block we need 2 clay, and then a white petal and a black petal. All these petals have meant I've needed to make a giant temporary sunflower farm, like this here. For half the flowers we need to harvest the flowers themselves to turn into more seeds, which we'll then need to replant, and we can use our sickle for this. But for the other half of the flowers, we want to break them and actually get the petals. We can actually use a broken sickle for this, rather than breaking them all individually, so keep one of those around. We then need cotton to make the yellow petals white. I have a few eternal cotton here inside my skyscraper. Then I can turn half of the white petals into black petals using charcoal. And finally, after all of that, I can finally make some dark grey clay. So now it's time to actually put in the overhang. As I build, I'm following the road height, keeping 5 blocks above at all times, which brings it a lot lower around the back. And then I build it back up on the other side to meet where we started on the front. Okay, so the overhang is in and it looks really good around this front side. But around the back here we have this massive gap. So large I can probably get another floor in. So let's spin around here and ta-da! There we go, another floor in. Now, let's finally build the base. I'm basically building shop fronts here using slates, and at some point in the future I may actually build some interiors. But right now I'm still figuring out how to do cyberpunk interiors. The slate I mined automatically using the method I outlined in my last video, so be sure to watch that if you want to learn how to do that. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Of course, it will look a lot better once there's actually shops and interiors. But for now, you'll notice that the road and path just sort of end. So let's fix that. So putting in the path didn't take too long, using the same blocks as the rest of the city, which is just some stone, and then a border to the building using some smooth stone bricks. Just need to extend this road now all the way around there in a nice curve, and continue this road in a straight line. This curve I didn't do freehand. I went onto a creative world and used the circular paintbrush tool to get the sizes of circle I needed, then copied a screenshot, which is sort of why you can see me measuring with some cloth blocks. And yet, I still somehow managed to get it wrong first time. That's the roads in. I think they look great, especially with the bright orange streetlights. So now it's time for the second build in this area. And let's, as usual, start with an outline. And then continue the path up to it. So what we have this time is much smaller and on a diagonal, so this should be fun. So I know I said to do the base last, and in a way I am, as this is just a wall to give me an idea, and I can come back and put detail on it later. So now that the base is in, I can start on the first actual layer, and this time I want to try a light sandstone, as it's not a colour I've used yet in this city, so it should be different. Hopefully it looks good. I'll also use thin horizontal windows for this one to make it look different to the build behind. So that's the start of the building, and I've used slabs again to make the horizontal windows, but as with the previous builds in this city, it looks rubbish without lights. So, as has somewhat become a theme for this video, there is nothing that these jack-o'-lanterns can't fix. So let's go and place these behind the windows. Using basalt slabs for the windows add a pop of different colour. The sideways slabs on the corners add some shape and also continues with that band of a different colour. So all the pumpkins again look very silly from the inside, but once the roof is on, you'll only see the exterior, which looks great. So let's go do that. The usual stuff for the roof, add extra height to the top floor. Then place a roof in a few blocks below the top to create a lip. Put some lights in the corner so you can actually see, then a little structure for machinery and elevators, and the usual aircon and electric boxes for details. With that second roof finished, we are done for this video, I reckon. But while it's night time, let's take some time to have a look around, as this is when it looks best. So as I run down this new road that we built this video, we can see just how cool the glowing light from the windows looks. From around the back, the windows also look awesome, and this alleyway between the two buildings is definitely unfinished, and I'll have to turn this into a street food alley or something in a later video. This is currently my favourite place to view the city from. All the bright lights and different colours just look so cool, and I can't wait to continue working on this in later videos. So thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. And if you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like or a comment. And if you don't want to miss the next instalment, then please subscribe. I will see you next time. Goodbye.